Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over whether you should be working out in an air conditioned space or non-air conditioned space. Why you should, why you shouldn't, why some people do, why I personally don't sometimes, um, and all the above. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so when we're looking at air conditioner space and a non-air conditioned space, each has its own benefits. It's not necessarily that one's better than the other. Um, Personally, a lot of the time I like to train in a non-air conditioned space, and the reason for this is because I feel and I've seen from the literature, the research, and from personal anecdotal experience as well that it builds a sense of grit in the person who's training. It helps you really push yourself further. Since when you start training, you start to build the dopamine, and when you get increases in dopamine, it makes exercising funner. Start to get really excited, really pumped up when you're training somewhere that's hot because your body's it's more in I don't know, it's more instinctual. You're more used to training like that. It's not usual for your body. Your body's not been developed to train somewhere that's air conditioned, so it's more used to it. And it really pushes itself. I feel like I push myself a little bit more when I'm in a non-air conditioned space, and I feel a lot more of that burn. But also, research has shown that in an air-conditioned space, you typically get more hypertrophic effects, and your body has an easier time building more muscle overall. So that's also why I train in air-conditioned space too, because I know that I'm gonna, even though it feels like I'm pushing myself more in a non-air-conditioned space, I should probably be most likely pushing myself more in an air-conditioned space. Um, so it makes more sense to train in an air-conditioned space, although still I love training somewhere that's not air conditioned. I'm like that pump feeling that you get, and I usually feel like I get bigger pumps when I train in a hotter place. It's probably because I get my arteries, they open up my veins, and it makes my muscles blow up much more than if I were to just train here in my room. Um, Although each has its own, like I said, benefits. Air conditioned training has more reliable, it's easier, it's less stressful, and you typically feel less lactate in your muscles. You feel less heavy. So for people who are really busy and don't want to feel that burning feeling an hour or two after they worked out, and when they have stuff to do too after they worked out, it makes much more sense to train in an air conditioned space over a non-air conditioned space. Non-air conditioned space, like I already said, helps with the dopamine and makes you feel extra good and pushes you more. And if you guys have seen my video on cold baths and saunas, anything that pushes you typically creates some sort of increased beneficial hormonal response. And I'm sure that there'd be some sort of benefit similarly to training in a warm space, in a hot space, than you would get to spending time in a sauna, since you're pushing yourself more than you would before, and your body has that increased adaptation response where it has to adapt to the surroundings, so it has to become more used to training in a hot environment. And this also, if you've seen my video on goal setting, the one that I did recently, with 3 tools that I use to stay consistent, and I inspire other people to use too, you'll see that discipline is one of the main things in person's training routine. And if you realize that you could train in a really hot place, you know that you could train anywhere. If you start training and you run and you really push yourself in your workouts, you know you'll be able to push yourself anywhere. You challenge yourself. The more you challenge yourself in your workouts, so you do different workouts, you do certain workouts that you're not really used to doing, and train your body in unique ways, you'll be more likely to train your at all. So you'll be more likely to train since you're more disciplined. You have that extra drive. And if you tell yourself, I'm going to do 12 reps and I end up doing 13 or 14, then boom, you're more disciplined. You're going to do more. You just push yourself more. So that's why I often train in a non-air conditioned space. But for most people, I'd recommend training in air conditioned space. As I said previously, it's been proven to help with pushing yourself, help with endurance in your workout. And if you want to get as aesthetic as possible, you need an increased endurance in your workout, more time. under tension, which is TUT, which leads to more growth hormonal response, which just leads to increased protein muscle synthesis response, which leads to bigger muscles. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Another short video, 2 back-to-back short videos. But hopefully after this video, I'll have a slightly longer video. But I don't know, still haven't done it yet. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.